Welcome back to another season of fantasy football. I'm your Commissioner Pliszka. Everyone, good job on the draft last night. Got the old rankings right here. Before I get into that, I want to welcome our newest member, Tyler Santamaria, brother of Pat Santamaria. And for those wondering, I did have a conversation with said Tyler Santamaria. He is real. He's not Pat's second team, and I will be vetoing any trade offer from Tyler to Pat. So let's get started with that. Congrats to our champion last year, first year ever playing fantasy, my dad. Dustin, 3-peat Pliszka still does make sense because Pliszka did win last year, but thanks for your concern over my name. Let's dive on in and let's get into these rankings. Another year, and I've been debating what way I'm going to go. I don't know if I want to go worst to first or if I want to go first to worst. But I'm going to go worst to first. We're going to go ahead and throw out the worst team out there. And as if we even had to wonder who it was, we're going to go with my ball, Zach Ertz. Same name as he's had since he started. That's about the only thing good about your team. You got Le'Veon Bell, which you auto-drafted. You auto-drafted the first player of the draft, so that made it look good. Other than that, Christian McCaffrey's going to be hurt week 1. I drafted him in the 4th round last year, and he did garbage for me. And then, other than that, as we all agree, you went with all Eagle players. Shocker. Everybody could have called that. You went Jeffrey, who even know if he's going to play this year. You got Wentz on the bench, who knows when he's going to play. And you took Aaron Rodgers dumb early in the draft. That's all I got. Terrible team. We're moving on. That's your worst team this year. Moving on. Tom Terran, Lake Placid, or whatever, fine, Josh Gordon, failed there, whatever your team name's going to be this year. You were close to last place. Pull up your team here. The only reason why you weren't ranked last is because I like Todd Gurley more than Le'Veon Bell this year, and that's really the only reason. Your wide receivers are garbage. Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, and Marquise Goodwin. I got nothing. That team's just terrible as well. I mean, I don't even know if you're in my division, but I really hope you are. You guys made this draft way too easy. We're just going to move on. We're going to go to number 8, Tongue in Zeke. I put you number 8, but that's actually a lot better than I thought you would do. I thought you would be last place again. But your wide receivers are Odell Beckham, which, breaking news, he just got paid. Chris Hogan, which was a good sleeper pick that I actually wanted, but you took him higher than I was willing to. The only thing that concerns me is your running backs, and Joe Mixon and Jordan Howard from the Bears. Not risky. I'll give you that. It's risky. The rest of your team, though, garbage. Your bench. That was it. Your bench. You drafted 2 players that I also had as sleepers. Kenyon Drake and Kenny Stills. But it's honestly like you made your team out of sleepers and you picked nobody with any talent in the beginning. Kareem Hunt's going to be garbage. I don't like him at all. So, moving on. Number 7, Nicole, you said you found yourself in the middle of the pack. I found you to be a little bit further behind the middle of the pack. First of all, I had this conversation with a couple of people. Next year, if you go into this draft and you wait your full minute and 30 seconds before you pick a player, I will not invite you back in. Especially when you have back-to-back picks and it takes you 3 minutes to take both back-to-back picks. Never again. Anyway, on to your team. Dalvin Cook, I like that pick. However, Amari Cooper, do you not remember the season he had last year? Like, maybe you're predicting a huge bounce-back year, but garbage. Your flex is Juju Smith. I'm a Steelers fan. Right there, that means I'm a Steelers fan. Not worth the pick you spent on him. Keenan Allen, going to tear his ACL week 2. Every other year he tears his ACL, so you should know that by now. Delaney Walker, good pick there. That was probably one of the last tight ends that I would feel good with taking. But Jay Ajayi is a player that could throw up like 0 points a week. I told you to avoid Eagle players. You didn't listen. It's your fault that you're at 7. Moving on. Finishing out the bottom 5 that I had is Pat. And I laughed that Pat is in the bottom 5 because, Pat, you got 2 first-round picks, and you still fucked your draft up. You got Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley, which were average draft position of 4 and 7, and somehow you got them at 6 and 14. So, first of all, anyone who drafted in between there, you suck. I don't know how you let that happen. But your wide receivers, man, Doug Baldwin, I mean, that's ugly. Demaryius Thomas, again, you're putting a lot of confidence in Case Keenum. That's nothing I want a part of. I like your tight end, Zach Ertz. Like I said, there's probably 5 tight ends I liked this year and got him. But LaShawn McCoy, like, first of all, he's hurt. Second of all, if he does play, he's not going to play because he's going to be suspended because he just beat the shit out of his ex-girlfriend. So that was a dumb pick. Dumb early round wasted there. Golden Tate, trash. Yeah, your entire bench is just trash. Except Dez Bryant. I like that sneaky pickup. I think he goes with Jacksonville, and he'll probably actually end up being a starter because the rest of your wide receivers are god-awful. Flying through this quick, which I like. We're going to go to the top 5 now. And at 5, we have our defending champ, Team L. Plishka, a.k.a. my dad. And I actually wanted to put him lower because I looked at his running backs, and I saw Collins and Ty Montgomery for his running backs. And I said, wow, that's going to be a long season. But then I looked at his wide receivers. He had Julio Jones and Devontae Adams, who I was real high on this year, and actually you picked him right above me, so I was a little irritated with that. Travis Kelce, which is the second best tight end in the league, so you're good there. Robert Woods was a good wide receiver that I was eyeing that you took right before me again. So, I mean, good news is on your bench you have a backup kicker. You never know when those kickers are going to go down. You also have, shocker, backup tight end, Jesse James, and a backup wide receiver, Washington, from Pittsburgh. Who would have guessed? At least you didn't make all your starters Pittsburgh players. Only reason why I have you at 5 is based off your wide receivers, and I actually liked Roethlisberger in quarterback position this year. You're not going to repeat, unfortunately. First of all, I'm going to win. Second of all, your team's not nearly good enough to win again this year. Pick number 4, our newcomer, who had a lot better draft than I would think he would. Turn Your Head and Goff. First of all, great name. I like it. Let's go take a look at your roster here. You did a lot better than I expected you to. I'm not real high on Kamara. I think he gets hurt, which is the exact reason why I drafted Mark Ingram. Melvin Gordon, he was a stud last year. I expect more of the same. Larry Fitzgerald, old as fuck. But, yeah, produces. Simple as that. Jimmy Graham, he wasn't one of those top tight ends, but he might prove me wrong. Allen Robinson from the Bears, I mean, someone's got to catch a pass out there, so I'll never argue having a number 1 wide receiver from a team. Going to your bench, and this is what put you number 4. It's Josh Gordon and Dion Lewis, and it's what those two can do in PPR. That can end up being good and push you over. Definitely a playoff team, I'll give you that. And me and you are actually scheduled to score the highest amount of points this week, so you're at number 4. We go to number 3, and just had lunch with you. Pine Street Pain. I put you at number 3 because your team is actually pretty decent. The only thing I don't like, and I'm trying not to be biased here because you're my friend, but then again, Jerick McKinnon. I can't stress enough that Jerick McKinnon is a no-name running back who is not going to do anything in San Francisco. Leonard Fournette, dude, we're playing PPR, bro. He ain't catching no passes. He'll run people over. Cool. He'll have 100-yard rushing games. That's 10 points. I mean, garbage. Anyway, rest of your team's looking pretty good. Jarvis Landry, he's god-awful, but he'll catch 14 passes, and that's how he'll get you some points. 14 passes for 20 yards. So, I mean, you're going to get 16 points a game there. Jordan Reed, though. 2 years ago, I would have said solid pick. This year, he's gonna be injured week 1. Sanders, I know you're real high on. I think you said that he's gonna have a monster year, but again, that's a lot of banking on Case Keenum. But again, for as far as PPR goes, outside of Leonard Fournette, you have a good team. Deshaun Watson, if he stays healthy, him and DeAndre Hopkins that you have, that's pretty filthy. And your bench is also what pushed you into the top 5. Cohen at running back for Chicago, that is a PPR monster. Carlos Hyde was sitting there. I don't know how you got him. Julian Edelman, 4-game suspension, but that's Tom Brady's go-to. That's another PPR monster. And then you get Gallup from Dallas. I mean, and Mike Williams. Mike Williams was a late-round pick that I wanted until I realized that my bench was already full and I couldn't take any more players. So, yeah, you drafted a good team. I'll give you that. Let's see, that's number 3. Yeah, we'll go to number 2 where I ranked myself. I never like to put myself number 1 because I don't want to jinx myself, even though I probably will win this year. But number 2 is me, and that's because you guys made this draft entirely too easy. I actually just talked about this with third place team and Ryan. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing when you draft. The fact that Ezekiel slipped to 6, okay, I understand that. Saquon Barkley slipping to 14 is ridiculous. And then you let me get Stephon Diggs in the 5th round. Like, where are you guys drafting these players at? I mean, I know you got my ball Zach Ertz that drafted his quarterback in the 2nd round, but I mean, you honestly made this way too easy for me. Look at my team. Kirk Cousins guaranteed money, and he actually has wide receivers to throw to. Look what he did in Washington with no wide receivers to throw to. David Johnson, that's money. Hopefully, his wrist doesn't break this year. Royce Freeman, I put my money in the rookie running backs, and I didn't want Ryan or Dustin to have him because he's a Bronco player that'll do well, and I can't let you have that enjoyment. And I want to see you root against your own team when I need that player to beat you. The one player that I don't like, which is the number 1 wide receiver, A.J. Green. He's way too spotty for me, but I had nobody else to pick there. And that's probably what set me from being number 1. My dad took Devontae Adams right in front of me, and that's who I was really eyeing. So I had to go with A.J. Green, but like I said, I got Stephon Diggs from there. And although a lot of people hate this pick, I got the top tight end in fantasy in the 3rd round, Rob Gronkowski, which a year ago, he's still putting the numbers up that he was 2-3 years ago when he was a 1st-round pick. And now all of a sudden he's signed in the 3rd round. I'll take that. I'll take that easy money, especially when Tom Brady has nobody else to pass to. Devin Funchess, I mean, he's just kind of a fill-in, but still, that's a wide receiver Cam's going to be throwing up dimes to. I took a Jacksonville defense pretty early. A lot of people made fun of me for that, but we'll see who's making fun of who when they're scoring 20 points a game. Mark Ingram, I get he's suspended for the first 4 games, but Alvin Kamara is going to be hurt after week 2. That's going to be a number 1 running back coming back with big points coming. Chris Thompson, PPR monster. Rashard Penny, starting running back for Seattle. Kelvin Benjamin, number 1 wide receiver. Peyton Barber, number 1. You guys made this too easy. I literally have starters on my bench when you guys have backups starting. Too easy. I'll probably win, but, no big deal. Going to number 1. I hate it. I actually think this is maybe even the 2nd year in a row I had you number 1 in the rankings, and there's only one player I didn't mention, so I think we all know who that is. If you can't beat him, Keenum. Dustin Cote, my brother-in-law. I think I'm rubbing off on him. I think that's why I have such a good fantasy team. He's probably listening to me and, telling him I probably drafted for him, actually, without even knowing. The only thing I don't like about your team is your running backs, but that's because you went wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, and you have Antonio Brown, Michael Thomas, and T.Y. Hilton. 3 guys I was real high on this year. I don't know how they all slipped to you, probably because you took them all in your first 3 picks. But Derrick Henry, he's not catching many passes anymore. Never did. He's a bruiser. He's much like Leonard Fournette. He'll rush for 100 yards a game, but he's never going to do much more than that. Maybe a touchdown here and there. Lamar Miller, dude, he's worse. He's more injury prone than I am. I don't like that. I get they got to hand the ball off to somebody, but Lamar Miller ain't him. Evan Ingram, though, that's a great tight end to go with. If I didn't get Gronkowski, that's who I was eyeing later in the round. Your bench, Robbie Anderson, that's a player I wanted to eye, but my bench is just too stacked with starters already. So Jordy Nelson is another player I liked late in the round. He's going to be trying to prove that he's not old as fuck and still has something left in the tank. Sammy Watkins was a garbage pick. Patrick Mahomes, I don't know why you're so high on this guy. I get that he could throw 80 yards, but he can't throw a 10-yard completion. So we'll see where that goes. As far as that goes, that's it. That's my top 10. I tried to make it quick this year. We're at the 15-minute mark. I'll try and do some midseason rankings this year. I don't think I ever did last year. But that's my top 10. Like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time on 9 and 10. I don't even know why you guys are in this league. You guys should probably just drop out next year. That or learn how to draft. That would probably be my other solid advice to you. But I look forward for another week and a half here when I probably go undefeated. Nicole, this is just a thing from last year. You're at number 7. Have fun making a team off the waiver wires again and somehow making the playoffs in some bullshit way. Next year, I think I'm going to change the waiver wires. No wonder why you and Chris and Pat both voted to keep the waiver wire the way it is. And that's because you make your team off it. And that's the only way you beat anybody is by having the worst team in the beginning of the season and then picking up all these waiver picks and getting somebody like Kamara that goes off week to week. But that's the end of that rant. Let me know what you guys think. Let me hear your top 10s if you get to it.